morning, Timo. So today we're going to have a quick chat, about Rocketo dog food. What exactly makes it different from some of the competition? There's a few points I want to ask you about, and the first one, which is something I'm really passionate about, is no synthetic vitamins and minerals. So can you just explain why that's so important to the dog?
So the majority of the vitamins and minerals, they are in synthetic form, are not useful for the body. Sometimes they even avoid the body to absorb the real thing. That's why we totally avoid them. Of course, some of them might still have a function, but we totally avoid them. We use only natural things in our food, whole foods, no extracts, no synthetics, no additives. That has nothing to do with the body.
Fantastic. That's lovely to hear. The next point I want us to talk about is we only use 100% organic or wild sourced ingredients. Why is that important to the owner and the dog?
Well, as a civilization, we overdone production, and that comes with its price. And all the conventional growth plants and animals have lots of baggage carrying with them. Glyphosates, other dirt like growth factors, antibiotics, and we try to avoid all that because they have nothing to do in the dog's body. So we use only certified organic and wild ingredients to avoid all the pollution that comes with a conventional growth produce.
Amazing, that's lovely, thank you. Now, the Rocketo food is raw dehydrated. Tell me about how the processing helps to maintain the goodness for the dog.
Well, a lot of vitamins and minerals, especially vitamins, are really sensitive to heat. And since we are keeping the heat very low, between 30 and 40 degrees, we avoid the vitamins and minerals changing their form. We avoid proteins changing their form and amino acids broken down. And like that, we keep the food in its original form that the intestinal tract and the microbiome of the dog can understand and appreciate. So it is more useful for the dog as long as it's in natural form.
Fantastic. So yeah, we're going to talk in a later video about exactly what makes it still raw. Thank you. Now, low carbohydrate as well. All of our foods are low carbohydrate. Why is that important for dogs?
Well, although humans are really good in digesting carbohydrates, most of the dogs are not. So as dogs evolved from a common ancestor with wolves, they also evolved to digest some of the starch and sugars. But that doesn't mean they thrive on it, they just survive on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of chronic diseases happen because the dogs are filled with processed starches, overly cooked, heated starches, and in general, not enough protein in their food. So to avoid that, we keep the carbohydrates very low, mostly in form of fibers, and just a bit of fruit sugars that is also necessary for glycogen and other functions in the dog's body. But we are very low in that.
That's wonderful. That's really important too, certainly as me as a dog owner. Now, one of the other things I really love about Rocketo is every decision they make is based on sustainability. So how does our food being low temperature dehydrated, how does that help the environment?
Well, because it's dehydrated with air, it doesn't have the disadvantages of being frozen and to be kept in frozen throughout the production, transportation, and of course storage at home. So our food is like a normal dry food. You can put it anywhere that is not too high in temperature and keep it for 2 years. And it's easy to transport because we've taken out all the moisture in the food that normally adds to the weight and volume.
Yeah.
So this is the best way to produce the food and make it a long-term shelf life and still fresh and highly nutritious.
Amazing. And it's amazing for me because all I need to do is add water. So it's so easy to use.
That's correct.
Now, one of the other things is we put a lot of effort at Rocketo into our supply chain, don't we, to ensure the quality of the ingredients, but also the quality of where we manufacture the food. Why is that important to someone as a dog owner?
Well, not important how good quality your sources are for your meat and all the other vegetables and plants we are using. If the production and the processes are bad and shoddy, then the food is going to be bad. So to get the best results, the best food we can deliver to the clients and the dogs, we have to have control and the quality on every step of the production. That includes the sourcing, the transportation, the storage, and the manufacturing process. Although our process is it's very straightforward. So you take it from the cold storage, you dry it, and you pack it. So there is not much happening in between. But still, we have to be really careful. That's why we are checking every certification. We test the food in several different stages of the manufacturing before, during, and after to make sure that the dogs are getting the cleanest, the best food that we can deliver.
That's great. And you've started to touch on my next point, which is the testing. So as a customer that's going to be feeding Rocketo to my dog, how can I be ensured it's safe and also nutritionally balanced?
Well, the nutritional balance part is quite easy. We don't overheat and cook or extrude anything from the food. Therefore, we keep all the nutrients inside. So we are just adding things that are not present in the meat to just make it a complete meal. And we are much higher in nutrients than the normal base FDF guidelines ask us to be. For the safety, because we get the best produce there is anyway. So we always start with a very clean product, and then we test them for pathogens. We test them for chemicals like glyphosate and other fertilizers, and we test them afterwards for their quality and nutrients. So we make sure that the food is complete, safe, and free of toxins.
That's amazing. Thank you. And the last point I just wanted to ask you about today. So how do you, as the formulator, the main formulator of our food, how do you ensure that the prey, that our food sort of mimics that of a natural prey for a dog?
Yeah, of course, nothing replaces a natural prey. That we cannot change because it also triggers a lot of hormonal and behavioral traits. But what I try to do is I just don't think too much about engineering the product. What I do is I take 70% of the food as the pure animal meat and organs, and then just add things that would be also present in the dog's prey's intestinal tract. Of course, we replace them sometimes with like coconut flakes normally don't come in the prey stomach. But we live in an industrial world and we cannot just use everything that the bunny would have in their intestine tract all the time. So it comes with challenges. But we make sure that all the ingredients are fitting to dog's needs and digestive tract, and the dog's microbiome is happy to have what we are sending to them.
Amazing. Thank you. That's great. So my dogs love it and I love it. Thank you for that explanation, Timo.
My pleasure.